Today we'll be exploring the Greylock tapes. What will you expect today? Well, there's missing babies, house invasions, and the manifestation of very creepy things. Doesn't that sound fun? Now let's jump right into tape 1. Because it's the beginning, it's gonna be very confusing. There's an emergency shutdown that was disengaged and clearance credentials were needed, but the mysterious person wanting access still managed to get in and was allowed to see the archive storage. They seem to be doing data extractions, but the video cut and started to glitch. We get shown an error screen that changes to this logo for Myuu, USA. This will be important later, so take a note of that, and the location throughout the video seems a little bit abandoned, so this is probably really old stuff that's been lost to time until it was discovered now and getting the data extracted. We're now moving on to tape 2, To the Mountains. Another confusing one if I'm being honest. We get shown footage of someone on a car and a man reading a sermon. The streets are empty and it's late at night, only the light posts being the things illuminating the surroundings. Eventually the person filming left the car and started recording the surroundings, but sometimes the clips changes to show red stains on the ground. Towards the end, the person filming soon focuses on something on a tree before it cuts back to driving on the road, with the sermon still going. The car stopped and the lights flickered on and off before thumping could be heard, and the person drove off. The audio was muffled during this. Now returning back to the footage that was taken outside, I couldn't tell if the surroundings were changing in real time or there were just clips from different recordings spliced together. Either way, something clearly happened, because there's red stains that look like someone was being dragged, and they were bleeding out. It's something to think about. Moving on to tape 3, Orientation Protocols. We get shown a warning and shh, tell no one I'm showing you this. This cassette is intended for Alexander Michael Marsh. Subject ID AM091065. This is a precautional protocol and an orientation video provided by Unit 13. We soon get told about the United States Army Project Stargate, which is created in partnership with Myuu, USA. Remember from the first video? I told you it was gonna be important. The viewer, or well, Alexander, gets congratulated for being selected, and we get told context of what's going on in Unit 13. Could Unit 13 be potentially the abandoned place from the first video? I don't know. We get told to ignore the rumors because they're most likely wrong and that Unit 13 is studying parapsychology. What is parapsychology? A field of study concerned with investigating the evidence of paranormal psychological phenomenon, such as telepathy, clairvoyance, and psychonesis. Stuff like that. We soon get introduced to thought forms, which is also known as stolpa. Thought forms are the manifestation of people's wills, emotions, or other deep psychological, energized state. This creates a semi-physical form which exists as an extension of someone, or it is its own entity. They can be created intentionally or unintentionally from a person who's strongly connected to their consciousness. And these entities can be created by either one person or a group, and they serve almost like companions to those who created them, at least for the most part. They can be seen by third parties, so other people, not just the person or group who manifested them. And they can have a certain influence on the world. There's levels to what they're capable of. In the beginning, they're very similar to ghosts. Often they get mistaken for them. At this level, the entities are usually unseen or could barely manifest. To communicate with them, devices that people would normally use to communicate with ghosts works on them too. Unit 13 has a theory that deceased people's energy is what creates these entities that are often mistaken for ghosts. Because of this, deceased people can create their own ghosts, which causes hauntings after their passing. During this, the entity collects energy which helps aid them into reaching the next level of gaining a physical appearance. Now, why is Unit 13 researching all of this? They want to see if these thought forms can be used in any way to help society. However, it takes many years of training just to make these entities intentionally rather than accidentally like those who passed. But thanks to a man named Mr. Arnold, his supervision and assistance to the project gave more results. With all the brilliant minds working on this project, they created the Thought Form Manifester, which creates independent and self-sustaining thought forms. Of course, there's still participants that need to use the machine to create these things. Humans, animals, objects, manifestations of emotions. They discovered how to intentionally create these thought forms. However, it's important to be cautious because some can take the form of something disturbing. Apparently, they shouldn't be harmful or threatening and they're relatively docile despite being able to touch you, so don't be afraid. I don't know if I believe this. Now, luckily, they're in containment when they're manifested. However, there are side effects that could happen to you after doing this. Tiredness, lost balance, dizziness, insomnia, vomiting, amnesia, and hallucinations. This should only last 72 hours. We're at the end of the tapes and the person watching it is scheduled to go through one of these manifesting sessions, but they need to do exercises first. The purpose of the training is to open their subconscious. Now we're moving on to the next tape, which is tape 4, Unexpected Visitors. We get shown windows and I believe I see someone on the other side, and then the footage changes to someone actually outside with a flashlight staring at windows. They peeked inside first before breaking in. They walk around the house and suddenly screams could be heard. The footage cuts back to outside. That soon gets interrupted by a TV program that also gets interrupted by an emergency broadcast. Turns out 49 residents have been targeted by intruders, and those viewing their emergency broadcast must follow directions to remain safe. What are these directions? Wake everyone in the house, lock all the doors while covering the windows. Huddle up in a safe location in the house. Have a weapon on hand. If you're not home, find a secure place to take shelter, and try to avoid interacting with the potential suspects. Just let the police do their job, they'll arrest the suspects. right? After this, we get cut back to footage of outside. Screams could be heard before a hand jumps into frame, jump scaring us all. The footage also glitches and shows disturbing images that flash quickly on the screen. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't think these are normal intruders. With everything that we've learned so far, I feel like it's more malicious, and the fact that it's targeting so many people is kind of concerning. happening. Having an intruder is a genuine nightmare for many people, so maybe multiple people manifested this event, and that's what's causing all the break-ins. Or maybe not, who knows? I'm probably overthinking it. Next tape, which is tape 5. Not here, not now, not anymore. We hear a conversation between Tiffany and Wanda. I believe this is a prenatal appointment, and Tiffany's talking about how her husband couldn't make it to the appointment because of work, but they're both equally excited to be parents. She's planning to name her baby Max, and she mentioned how Max has been kicking and moving a lot during the pregnancy. We soon get shown the baby within her womb, but suddenly the audio distorts and the video glitches. We can hear a baby crying and get shown an article which is a little difficult to read, and after that we get shown a face. When we return back to the normal footage, the baby is gone. In the end, the woman cries, not understanding what's happening, and we get shown an article about Tiffany. This is shocking and confusing, but many viewers believe that the woman manifested the baby because of how desperate she was to have a child, and after getting a sonogram, it forced her to face reality, and that's when she discovered she wasn't actually pregnant and the baby was a thought form. But that's just a theory. Maybe a thought form actually kidnapped her child, who knows? It's actually kind of scary. Either you made up a baby or your baby's actually being kidnapped, whatever it is. Yikes. Tape 6, Sleeping Dog. It starts off with a speech about psychology and how humanity is on the pursuit to find God, and when we do, we'll be equals. After that, we get shown voice messages from a guy named Paul, who is notifying Frank about the tunnels discovered in a mountain at the site they're at. It seems ancient and they considered blasting through the areas that are blocked. Later on, suddenly the crew started to get really sick and a few of the crew claimed they started to see things around the site, like a tall man. They avoided entering the tunnels for a while before eventually exploring it and finding artifacts. As time continues, the crew is getting sicker, and Paul is now seeing what the others are seeing around the site. And unexpectedly, the food is turning bad despite being well contained, and Paul is desperate for a call back from Frank. The thing in the woods seemed to be watching the crew and making everyone paranoid, so much so that they had to set up cameras. Whenever motion was detected, it would be captured on the camera. As you can see right here. What is that? After this, the crew is still sick and are struggling to contact anyone for help, calling emergencies, 911, and nothing is working. Paul isn't doing too well too, and seems to be going a little crazy. He even wants to go down into the tunnels, hoping he'll find something that will help the crew, or going down there will help him avoid something terrible. Whatever it is, something seems to be drawing Paul to go deeper into the tunnels. And for the final message, we can hear screamings and get shown disturbing images. Motion was detected one last time and we see this face. Now clearly, this place is extremely dangerous. Whatever's going on, it either wants to drive people away from the site or there's a twisted desire to inflict suffering and the crew were an easy target. But I'm honestly not too sure, so we have to continue to learn what's going on. Next tape, tape 7. Back to normal. Back to normal, my ass! We're watching the news about recent criminal activities, the house invaders, and how authorities discovered who were responsible and arrested the criminals. They say things will be fine and safe until suddenly the footage started to glitch. Honestly, I don't believe life will be peaceful and normal. Hidden within the glitches, we learn that healthy grown adults suddenly are starting to become deformed, growing extra limbs and developing severe mental conditions and sicknesses. That's alarming. We also get shown Tiffany and her husband speaking up about their missing baby. When the footage returns back to the newscaster, his face distorts and the word liar appears next to him. This leads to tape 8, Old Odd Ends. Because something clearly went wrong with the broadcast, a meeting was held and we hear the audio for it. The executive isn't happy and wants someone named Dawn to come to the studio to read a statement. They report on these strange events and can't stall on this incident any longer, so they need to clear things up before things get out of hand. The remaining parts of the file was destroyed. Oh, but there's an anomalous file. Let's see what's inside. We learn about someone named Arnold, which is a part of the crew with Paul. Remember the guy that was tempted to go into the tunnels? Arnold believes his life is in danger and he doesn't have long, so he's leaving recordings of his discoveries. Ancient markings and artifacts were found within the tunnels of the mountain. He believes the mountain isn't normal and the origins of the artifacts found were all over the place. And what's the name of the mountain again? Greylock? The same name on all the tapes. We seem to have found the origin of everything, at least I think. Anyways, all the things discovered in the mountain was shocking because of how far back everything was dated and all the things found in the tunnel are connected to multiple cultures. How did all these things end up here and in one place when they should be scattered around the world in their cultures? But they're here, in this mountain. Why are they here? It's crazy but interesting and they continue to explore. He then talks about how all the tunnels connect to one place where all of the offerings are found. We briefly cut away from Arnold and get interrupted by a phone call to a police dispatcher. A man named Liam is reporting a break-in at his co-worker's house and confirms that someone is hurt. It's clear to see that break-ins are still an issue. Don't let the news lie to you. Be cautious, everyone. Thought forms actual people. Someone is trying to break into your home. Back to Arnold. There were signs of sacrifices that happened in the chambers, and being there made Arnold believe whatever is there, people from all over the world are worshipping it. It's just a gut feeling, but he genuinely believes it. Maybe whatever this being is causing all this trouble for the crew. Maybe the crew's health is being sacrificed to whatever is deep inside. I should stop guessing because I'm usually wrong. But who knows? It's something to think about. Anyways, Arnold doesn't feel normal anymore after exploring the tunnels. Arnold is hearing voices within the tunnel and getting a strange temptation to proceed further. He stated the importance of preserving the mountain and stopping with the original construction plan. However, his opinion was discarded and the project continued. At this point, Arnold doesn't want to continue working at the site because of the effects he's seeing happening to the crew. Speaking of the crew, we get shown survival data. We get told about the condition that the people are in and also get shown before and after photos. The first one is tame, but the next few are genuinely terrible. terrifying. It's like they're turning into flesh-hungry monsters. They don't seem human and are quick to turn violent. I would show you what the after photos look like, but I feel like if you want to truly feel unsettled, watching the video yourself would be a better option than just me showing it. But fair warning, if you don't like body horror or get easily disturbed, maybe it's best you don't see. It depends on how ready you are to witness such content. So if you think you can handle it, link in the description. Now back to Arnold. Arnold left the site not wanting to get any further involved with Mount Greylock, and it was a smart decision, especially after seeing what happened to the crew. However, problems continued to pop up. The house invaders, bodies falling from the sky, and the pregnancy incidents. Arnold believes it's all related, and because he knows so much, he believes someone or something is out to get him, to kill him. Maybe he's paranoid, maybe he's right. Just in case, he's recording everything he discovered so the information won't be lost if something were to happen to him, and he was right to do so. At the end, we see footage of Arnold hiding as a distorted voice outside is searching for him. It could sound like a child, policeman, older person, anything. And hearing it take the voice of a giggling child after finding Arnold genuinely unsettled me. I don't think Arnold is alive after this, by the way. Yikes. Now it's tape 9, Trojan technology, the latest tape in the series. Apparently, the president made a program in which every household will have communication tools. Many will receive electronics such as TVs, telephones, and even provided burglar alarms and flashlights. The purpose for all of this is to be prepared and be aware of emergencies. It's crucial to have all these things, and Myuu USA, it's been a while since we heard about them, is assisting with providing these electronic packages. And we're used to this, but glitches appear in the video, revealing an article that mentions President Kennedy and him saying no to Myuu USA. Then it brought up his assassination. Is it implying that he was assassinated because he said no to them? You know what, I'm not gonna think about it right now. We also get shown security footage throughout the video, and there's a press conference explaining how amazing and important technology is. As we listen to the press conference, it changes to a different audio clip, where someone is talking about their concerns that Myuu USA would be exposed. We then get shown footage with writing. The NAI program was a trap. They're watching, they're listening. Fuck LBJ. Fuck Myuu USA. I won't be your lab rat anymore. Clearly there's something suspicious going on. I wonder why they're so adamant about putting technology in everyone's homes. And at this point, I don't even know if I trust Myuu USA. Kinda suspicious if you ask me. Hey, they're responsible for the thought forms, and those things seem pretty dangerous to me. Anyways, during the press conference, the president of Myuu USA soon mentions how he desires to make society equal. Security, connectivity, and accessibility being the 3 key factors to make America better. Technology will also be provided to police, schools, and businesses. They really want to keep everyone connected through technology. We soon get shown more photos and footage of— oh my god! Get that thing away from me! Stop whispering in my ear! Ugh! Why did I watch this at night? I think I'm gonna cry. This thing is claiming to be an imaginary friend of Katie, the person this thing is talking to. And Katie is accepting it. Well, after hesitating for a bit, but still. Katie can't exactly see the imaginary friend without her glasses, and this imaginary friend is trying to lure Katie closer to them by mentioning that her glasses are with them. They succeeded, and I think Katie is no more. I'm sorry. This is why stranger danger is a thing, kids. Even with imaginary friends, especially with imaginary friends you didn't imagine. But that thing's a thought form, not an imaginary friend. But they're kind of are, because people manifest them like you would come up with an imaginary friend, but they're not imaginary because they have a physical form. Whatever, I'm going to confuse myself with all this. I'm sorry. I'm just dumb. Anyways, and at the end, someone tries calling Tiffany, the woman with the missing baby, but she didn't pick up the phone, and that's all the tapes so far. A mountain with tunnels and artifacts that are strangely connected to all cultures. A whole crew changing for the worst. Thought forms that are things that are manifested by people. Women losing their babies. Multiple houses getting broken into. And probably hints to a god that resides within the mountain, but I don't know. In the beginning, they mentioned how finding God will make everyone equal, and Myuu USA wants to make everyone equal. So are they trying to find this God, or am I looking too deep into this? I'm not really the smartest or the best at coming up with theories, so I'd like to hear what your opinions are of this. And that's Greylock, one of the more scarier things I covered in my Let's Explore videos. It's worth watching, honestly. Go check it out. Link in the description. Now, I hope you have a good day. I better not catch you dying on me, and goodbye. Like and subscribe.